Hello, Indian mythology fans. My name is Sonika, and I am the author of the book Who God Really Is. Today I bring you a clever and humorous story of divine rivalry between the two sons of Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. As always, after telling you the story, I will teach you the very useful lessons of this ancient Hindu myth that you can still apply to your modern relationships and spiritual growth in the 21st century. Now, Hinduism is sometimes called a complicated religion. It's why I wrote the book, Who God Really Is, a book in which the principles of Hinduism are best understood and God is explained through a modern rational lens. Do grab your copy on Amazon today. Let me tell you the Hindu myth of how Ganesh outsmarted his brother Kartikeya. One day, Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati were sitting in Mount Kailash, surrounded by their sons Ganesh and Kartikeya. The brothers often had playful rivalries, and this time an argument arose over who was the wiser and more deserving son of their parents' blessings. To settle the dispute, Shiva decided to set a challenge. Whoever completes 3 full circles around the world and returns first will be declared the winner and will receive a special prize. Kartikeya, the god of war, was strong, swift, and always up for a challenge. He immediately mounted his divine peacock, Paravani, and soared into the sky, determined to complete the race as fast as possible. With his incredible speed, he began circling the world, traveling across mountains, oceans, and celestial realms. Ganesh, on the other hand, was not built for speed. His large belly and small mouse, Mushika, were not suited for such a high-speed race. However, Ganesh or Ganesha was not discouraged. He knew that brute speed was not the only way to win. Instead of chasing after Kartikeya, Ganesha calmly sat down and thought deeply. He realized something profound. The entire world, the entire universe is contained within his parents, for they are the very source of life and knowledge. With this wisdom in mind, Ganesha smiled, stood up, and respectfully walked around Shiva and Parvati 3 times. After completing the 3 circles, he bowed down and said, "For me, my parents are my entire world. By circling you, God, I have circled the universe." Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati were overjoyed by Ganesha's intelligence and devotion. They blessed him and declared him the winner of the challenge. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave a rating or review. I really appreciate it. Meanwhile, Kartikeya, still flying across the universe, had no idea what had happened. He completed his journey exhausted but confident and returned to Mount Kailash. However, upon arrival, he was shocked to see his brother Ganesha already there, sitting happily next to their parents. Confused and out of breath, Kartikeya asked, "How did you get here before me? Did you find a faster route?" Shiva chuckled and explained what had happened. Upon hearing Ganesha's clever trick, Kartikeya at first felt frustrated. He had spent so much effort flying across the cosmos. However, after a moment of reflection, he understood the wisdom behind Ganesha's action. He smiled and accepted defeat gracefully, realizing that intelligence and devotion can sometimes surpass even the greatest physical abilities. As the winner, Ganesha received a special blessing from Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati, his mother. From this day forth, Ganesha will be worshipped first before any other god. He will be known as Vignaharta, the remover of obstacles, and the Lord of beginnings. This is why, to this day, Lord Ganesha is always worshipped first by Hindu devotees around the world before any Hindu ritual or ceremony starts. Devotees seek his blessings to remove hurdles from their lives, just as he removed the obstacle of a long journey by using his intelligence and wisdom. So what are the very useful lessons that we in the 21st century learn from this clever Hindu myth? The story of how Ganesha outsmarted his brother Kartikeya highlights how our mindset shapes the way we approach success and relationships. Kartikeya's approach represents the common belief that effort and action alone determine success. Many of us think that proving our worth through grand gestures, hard work, or external achievements is the only way to gain love, respect, or validation. In personal relationships, this can lead to exhaustion, competition, and a feeling of inadequacy as we constantly try to win approval from others. Kartikeya's frustration upon realizing Ganesha had already won mirrors the way people feel when they put in immense effort but do not get the recognition or emotional fulfillment they expect. On the other hand, Ganesha's wisdom reveals a different mindset, one rooted in presence, understanding, and analysis, and deeper emotional intelligence. Instead of rushing to prove himself externally, he looked within and recognized the fundamental truths of the challenge or situation at hand. Ganesha recognized the fundamental truth that his parents, God and Goddess, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, as his source of life and knowledge, were everything in this universe. They were the entire universe. This reflects how in relationships, deep connection and understanding often matter more than extravagant efforts. People who value emotional intelligence, communication, and presence tend to build stronger, more fulfilling bonds than those who seek love through external achievements, a competitive nature, or material success. While Kartikeya had speed and strength, Ganesha used intelligence and wisdom to solve the challenge in an unexpected way. Kartikeya took the literal approach, while Ganesha thought outside the box. This Hindu myth shows that sometimes thinking differently can lead to success. I'm reminded here of what I wrote in my book, Who God Really Is. In the book I wrote, no matter how similar two parents are, it is highly likely that their children, even twins, will be different from each other in at least one very noticeable fundamental way. Think here about how different Abel and Cain are in the biblical story of Adam and Eve. Changeability is divinely permitted and naturally imaged at all levels or scales of being. And that sure is the case with even the children of Hindu gods. Do grab your copy of Who God Really Is on Amazon today to understand God truly, thoroughly, and to understand the philosophical and realistic underpinnings of Ganesha's approach to the challenge that was given to him in this Hindu myth. Ultimately, the story of how Ganesha outsmarted Kartikeya teaches us to shift our mindset from seeking validation through effort alone to understanding what truly matters in relationships in order for them to be successful. Just as Ganesha understood that love and devotion outweigh speed and competition, we too must recognize that meaningful relationships are built on emotional connection, wisdom, and the ability to see beyond surface-level accomplishments. Whether in friendships, family dynamics, or romantic relationships, a mindset of introspection, respect, and prioritizing meaningful connections over external validation leads to deeper and more lasting successful bonds. If you have found it somewhat difficult to understand God well through the often complex Hindu stories, then do read my book, Who God Really Is, on Amazon. It is a book in which the principles of Hinduism are best understood and God is explained through a modern rational lens. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak with you in the next episode.